I'm about to say something really obvious about budgets and household money and grocery prices. And when I taught social and general psychology at the university, and kids would say, that was really obvious, I would say, yes, you already knew it in your heart, in your gut, but you did not know it as a term. You didn't have a label for it. And having those terms and labels changes the way that we behave. So when I'm giving people terms and labels, it's because I think that having that label for something obvious might change the way you behave. This is the birthday, April 8th, 1904, of Sir John Hicks. Sir John Hicks was an economist that said that our understanding of income has to take into account market forces, and that our understanding of the way that money is going to be spent has to take into effect the income effect and the substitution effect. So I'm going to use my own household economy budget as an example. According to the USDA, it should cost $157.90 a week for me to supply my household with enough food to keep us going. If you don't know how to get a hold of that number through the USDA, I'm happy to show you. It's available through Google. There's a little chart. It asks how many people there are and how old they are. And then you do some addition and you find out how much money you should be spending for low, moderate, high grocery level. In our household, $157.90 should get us basic groceries to get us through to the following week. Now, Sir John Hicks, his definition of income was how much it takes to get you to the following week, right? The USDA puts out a new number each month based on the previous month because markets are constantly changing. Inflation is always changing. Things are always changing, right? But in moments of, global uncertainty and economic recession, huge inflation in food prices, then having the income effect in your mind when you're going grocery shopping matters, which is this. If I, right this minute, took $157.90 and I went to the bank and I got 10 envelopes and put $157.90 each in each envelope, then I could expect that each week as I go in, I actually get less food, right? The same amount of money each week is going to get me slightly less food. This is especially true. The income effect says it's true when you're getting the same thing, right? If I have a grocery list and I go in every single week with that grocery list and I buy milk and bread and meat and vegetables based on the list the first week, and every week buy the same things, I will get less for it. You're going to have less food coming in. That's the income effect. The substitution effect says that when people, corporations, whoever you're talking about, but the budget gets tight, that you start seeing consumers substitute to keep essentially caloric load the same, effective worth the same, right? So you and I are already doing this, but knowing what we're doing matters. Substitution effect says that as we walk through the grocery store, we're going to be buying less because of income effect. And so eventually we get to a tipping point for any one type of food, for any one item, where we start making judgment calls or substituting items. I might have bought chorizo as a protein at one point, and I might say, actually, we're going to go with tuna fish as a protein this week. Actually, we're going to put beans in there. Right? I might have bought the nicer sourdough bread that I was excited about, and I might be buying the loaf of sliced basic wheat bread a following week. You also start seeing, in times of economic recession and kind of financial increases in financial desperation, you see changes in actual cooking habits, right? So I talk a lot about like World War II rationing and victory gardens and stuff like that. You see the financial choices changing. You see people start substituting for eggs, substituting for sugars, substituting for meats because they can't make it go as far. And you either have to have more income to account for that, or you have to change the spending habits. So as you go grocery shopping this week, you know that you're every week after this impacted by the income effect and the substitution effect. And you can think, oh, that was that. Sir John Hicks would have said that this was income effect. Sir John Hicks would have said that this was substitution effect, and that either the income has to change or the spending habits have to change, because those are the only choices. And you can see it happening, and sometimes just having the word helps improve the choices we make. Also, none of this is to ever say that the people who are on the bottom are not just absolutely squashed by this beast, right? We have this problem when we're talking about budgeting and economy where we act like this is fine and logical, and at some point on the bottom levels of socioeconomic status, you just can't do it. There's not enough money coming in to make the food happen. And I never want to pretend like this applies equally across all socioeconomic levels. What I want you to do is I want you to be able to feel like you at least know what these forces are that are impacting you. For most of us, even lower income folks, you're going to see these things play out in the grocery store. Some folks have been dealing with substitution effect because their grocery budgets are so tight for a very long time. Some of us are seeing it play out in different ways currently, and having those words matters.